Hey guys, Sierra Bailey here with Accel Commercial Real Estate. The video you're watching ties into our event in June, Accelerate. If you want to learn more about what you see today, scan the QR code on your screen or click the link in the description to get your tickets now before early bird pricing runs out. Enjoy the video.
Right. Well, I guess my family had real estate, so they had a couple duplexes in my hometown, and then like a fiveplex and a couple little houses. And when I was growing up, they actually hated being landlords. So, um, and I remember I would have to go out and hear the horror stories about tenants, doing all this stuff, not paying rent, yada yada yada. My dad would work out of town, and it'd be me and my mom that were maintenance. And so remember I learned how to change toilet flappers, when I was like, I don't know, probably 10 years old. And so I didn't really love it then. I didn't understand, what it could do and all that as far as helping you retire early or anything like that. But so my parents, they sold all the rental property by the time I was growing up. And but I was working in I went to college in engineering, and then got a job as a construction manager, and I was traveling around working on construction projects, making decent money. But I thought, well, I don't want to be doing this until I'm 65. So what else can I do? And I looked at different channels, like, maybe there's something online that I can do that to create passive income, and didn't really get that figured out. I could like write books and sell them, and those are kind of passive. Didn't get that figured out, but I thought, well, I know I could buy a piece of real estate and rent it out, and and go from there. And I thought, well, I'll keep my job, buy one property per year or something like that with the money I was saving, living like very, very frugally at the time, saving at least half of my income in my early 20s. And started listening to podcasts, reading books, and I felt good enough one day. I saved up $12,000, bought a $60,000 duplex. It was my first investment in a little town in North Carolina. And the lady that sold it to me was, she was like my first mentor, really, because she had some rental properties, and this thing was a dump. And she said, oh, well, it's got tenants in it. You're going to have income off of it. Well, they were actually her grandchildren, and they kind of just put the grandchildren in there for a place to stay. And one of them paid a couple months rent, stopped. The other one was pretty much a horrible tenant, and they were brother and sister. And so they bicker back and forth, text me in the middle of the night, oh, he parked in my parking spot and all this kind of stuff. So,
So what you're saying, your first experience wasn't?
Yeah, it wasn't great.
Yeah.
I would literally stay up at night thinking I'm going to get a phone call, the water heater's going to explode, anything. It worried me, honestly, and I didn't like it. But so that's when I started to go on with.
And then where did you go from that one? How long did you hold that duplex and sell, and then?
Yeah, so it was in North Carolina. I moved back to Nashville. In the meantime, bought a house. Oh, by the way, I got the duplex off Craigslist. I don't know if everybody remembers what Craigslist is, but it was a good tool. You could find some deals on there. Maybe you still can. I don't get on Craigslist anymore. Maybe I should. But and I bought a house in Nashville off Craigslist and lived in it. It was a townhouse. And I bought it, lived in it, fixed it up a little bit, painted it, put flooring in it. And, while I was living there, had a little equity in that. And then I started to really, really hate my job. And I knew, like I said, I knew I had some equity in that townhouse. And I thought, well, this is kind of like flipping a house. I'm living in it. It's got good equity in it because I fixed it up. And it was awful when I bought it. It smelled like smoke. Nobody would have bought it, to move into, except me. But carpet was nasty, yellow, everything. And, But other than that, it was a nice place. It literally just needed paint and flooring. Um, and so I had those two properties, and then quit my job, thinking that I was gonna flip houses. Like, oh, I just need to find one property per year. I can make like $30,000 a year. That's all I need to live on. Screw this job, and I did it, not knowing where I was gonna go from there, what I was gonna buy. But I thought I was gonna flip houses. Didn't flip a single house. But what I did do is I sold both of those properties. Spent about 8 months to a year just learning as much as I could, coming to real estate events, going to rent, meeting people like you guys and everybody in here. And like, how do people make money in real estate, or find deals, et cetera, et cetera. And so I had both those properties sold, had some cash in the bank, about $100,000 actually, by the time I blew up my retirement, sold the two properties.
Yeah.
And whatever else I had left over. And but anyway, so I was writing letters to people looking for junky houses to flip. I was right, and then I thought, well, I got enough money I can put down on a small apartment complex. It's I'm not gonna be able to retire, but or so I was looking into that. Started sending handwritten letters every day. I'd sit down and write about 20 of them, apartments to small apartments, and then homes. And then one day some guy called me. I was at the gym, and he had gotten my letter about some apartments in town over from where I was living in Manchester, Tennessee is where they were. He called me, connected me with the broker, and the broker said, well, I think I've got some apartments I want to sell. And I said, there's no way I can buy that. It's $1 million purchase. And I don't have 20% down. I got 10% down. And I said, well, will he hold a second mortgage? Because I learned that if someone will hold, if the seller especially will hold a second mortgage on the property, the bank will let you put less down, sometimes even 0%. But so I went to a bank and I said, hey, will you let me put 10% down on this property if the owner holds a mortgage? 32 apartments. It was actually $1.15 million. And I bought it.
The bank said yes.
Scared to death. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The bank said yes. And then
So you had to have the nerves of steel to go from, hey, let's
Two
see, I've got
units to
this,
32.
you all of a sudden now I've got this building and
yeah.
I've never managed 32,
Yeah.
never owned 32.
Yep.
Yeah.
But another, like I was saying, the lady was kind of my mentor that sold me that first duplex. Well, the guy that I bought this property from, he was also a really good mentor because, well, I owed him money, so we had to communicate, hey, how do you want to get paid, this and that. And he's a really nice guy. And so if I ran into trouble, and actually he had a manager. It was a husband and wife. Wife was the manager. The husband was a maintenance man. And so they were my team already. I don't have to answer the phone calls at night, worry about something blowing up, catching on fire. Like, they get those phone calls, they fix everything. And I don't have to do that anymore. I don't have to, change out toilets in the middle of the night, deal with all the little petty things that people do. So that was, that definitely helped out. It still made me very nervous that all of a sudden I've got 32 residences and, what if something goes wrong? What if everybody moves out? But they didn't. So that was my huge leap, really, from 2 to 32 all at once. So
the gentleman that you bought him from,
mhm.
you say kind of maybe a second mentor,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
how did your relationship with him evolve over time, knowing that, you owed him money, so you
Yeah.
had to communicate, but
Uh-huh.
did you find him to be very helpful?
Yeah, I mean, he was, how do I say this nicely? He didn't spend a lot of money on his properties. He was very just cheap, so I didn't really take his advice on stuff like that. Like, oh, should I leave this for or replace it? Answer I was leave. or, oh, the air conditioner's leaking out Freon. Instead of replacing it, he would pump it full of Freon twice a year and let it leak out. So after I bought it, about 6 months later, a couple air conditioners quit working, and then I found out, yeah, he was just filling them with Freon. So that kind of thing, I don't do that anymore. I don't do that like he does. But you know, I was like, oh, hey, we're having trouble with these apartments. What should we do? And he's like, oh, you know, well, your deposit's too high. Like, you can't, these people can't afford, you know, $600 first month's rent and a $600 deposit, drop it to like 300. And it worked, like stuff like that. And then he also, of course, he hired the people that I hired. So I kind of like piggybacked off his relationship with them. And then, but he owned about 600 apartments all across Tennessee. And just by staying in touch with him, he calls me up 2 or 3 months later and says, hey, I want to sell this 57 unit property for $2.5 million. Are you interested? And I'm like, no, like that's all my money. Like that's literally everything I own is in this complex right here
The
that
one
I
I
just
just
bought.
bought.
Yeah, the one I just bought. So
Yeah.
kept talking to him, and he said, well, by the way, I want to hold I want to be the bank on it. So if you buy it from me, I'm going to loan you the $2 million if you can come up with 500,000. And so, well, maybe I can come up with $500,000. And I started calling people that I met in real estate meetups, and I made 3 phone calls. The first guy I called and met with, he was, the second guy I called and met with, third guy said, I thought maybe I'll raise like $100,000 from each person or something like that. Well, the third guy I called, he said, what if I bring all the money to the table and we be partners? And I was like, that would be excellent. And so at that point, I had the bank, I had the down payment, and then I was going to manage the property and basically everything from start to finish. And so yeah, then I was a partner in a 57 unit deal, just like that. But it also took a lot of nerve and all that.
Thanks for watching this video. If you like what you see, be sure to follow our Generational Wealth Learning series. On select Thursdays, we offer cutting-edge industry information that would normally cost thousands of dollars. And the best part, our education is absolutely free. If you register through our events page, you can join us live, either in person or over Zoom. In the meantime, like this video, comment down below, and subscribe to our channel so you never miss a beat.